very exciting to me anytime I get to talk about social media intelligence because it's so very important to not only our personal lives but also our professional lives. How we are portrayed, how we are seen, and how we are developed online will make or break us. So we are going to start this morning by you getting a pen and a piece of paper. And I am different from the other speakers as I will have you write. The topic today is global mentality in a small town. And I was asked, are you calling Memphis a small town? It really depends on your mentality as to whether you are global and targeting your local market. You can be in a small town and have a global mentality, okay? A small town like 20,000 people. You can be in Memphis and have a small town mentality in a large city. So we cap it by saying global mentality in a small town, social media intelligence defined. There are a few questions I plan to ask you today to determine if you are a global mentality purposed person. It is adopted by the far-reaching effect of the internet encompassing social media platforms. As you know, there are many of those, providing vast diversity tools to enhance our influence. Everyone say influence.
Influence.
And development. Say development.
Development.
In several things. Personal relationships.
Personal
We just
relationship.
heard about that. Business growth. Nonprofit fundraisers. Professional clout. How many of you have checked your clout score lately? How many of you know what clout is? Okay, social media intelligence. Somebody tell me what clout is.
Clout is sort of like it's a third-party measurement tool of what your social influence is, from what
Exactly.
you post and what you do, who you follow, who follows you. It sort of takes that and it is what it is. It talks about how much clout you have with your social media presence.
Exactly, and it measures your engagement. So important with social media intelligence that you're not just spitting out information, you are engaging people. So may I ask, what is your clout score? Because it's very difficult to get a high clout score.
I've been as high as 57.
Excellent.
I usually hover in the 30s. It depends on, Twitter's not my weapon of choice.
Right.
LinkedIn and Facebook are something, since I'm a content generator, that I feel more comfortable in. So usually hover around 37 or so.
Okay, so Clout, KLOUT.com. I encourage all of you to go there, get set up, and measure your successes. Right now, I'm at 65. It's very difficult to be at 65. Terry Murphy is at 65. So those that are really, really actively, that's my job, right? Social media intelligence. So those that are actively involved on social media are going to usually range anywhere from 65 to 70. I have not yet seen anyone rank any higher. Has anyone here? Okay, so that's a very great tool to use to see how you're influential online. Connecting internationally may not be your vision, but should it be? We are in a global society. Yes, we need to target market our local areas. How can we do that? We can do that through Twitter. We can do that through hashtag Memphis, hashtag Nashville, hashtag Atlanta, right? So that we're hitting those feeds, and that's a whole different workshop, but that's what Twitter does for you. It helps you to target those conversations, and you can also be globally interacting around the world. Today we are going to find out if you are a small town thinker, say small town thinker,
Small town thinker.
I call it STT, or a global interactor, say global interactor,
Global interactor.
which I call GI. Okay? What is the scope of your social media presence? And breaking that down, an STT has one or no social media profiles set to maximum privacy with little conversation. Okay, they're in jail. They're in social media jail, behind bars. Okay, that's a small town thinker. A GI or a global interactor has 3 to 5 social media profiles opened to interaction and conversation or engagement. Okay? Now, what do I mean by opened? I mean that yes, your privacy settings are set the way that you believe they should be set. There's certain boundaries everyone has depending on what your profession is. Okay? But if you are on lockdown, then why are you online? If you are there for business, you must be accessible to people so that they can learn about you and you can learn about them and you can develop those relationships that Jana was talking about. Very important. Do you provide international access to potential clients or members? Is there a yes or a no in the room?
Yes.
Okay, tell us how you do that.
Well, I interact with people on an international level, and that's probably the best way to do it.
How do you interact?
Well, I follow on LinkedIn. You have your influencers there, and comment on their articles. Follow them on Twitter, and share my thoughts with them, which is
Exactly.
positioning myself as someone who is in their sphere of influence if they take me up on mine.
Yes. So you brand yourself as influential because you are. You're not making this up. This is information that you have that you are sharing. But you're also commenting on the information that you are gaining from those that you're interacting with. So you are a global interactor. Very important. A small town thinker, when it comes to this discussion that we're having about the scope of your media presence, will have one basic website with no social media icons or share buttons. Can anybody relate that you have a basic website, you have no share buttons, you have no social media icons? Okay, there's some, all right? So that is a small town thinker, but we are here because we're going to become what? A global interactor. All right, so a global interactor has one or more websites with e-commerce and or podcast, social interaction, and an active, well-written blog. That is a global interactor. Are you targeting local and international individuals with your message? That's a question. We just talked about that a moment ago. A small town thinker says, quote, I have had a brick and mortar since I started my business. It works for me, and I am not going to change. Have you ever met people like that? All this social media stuff is scary, and I'm staying away from it.
Oh, yeah.
I've met people like that, the small town thinker. And basically where they're coming from, I do understand. And having a good understanding of that is that they have the lack of information to understand what they can and should not do online. And that's why you learn social media intelligence. Whereas the response from a global interactor would be, I have a brick and mortar and enjoy interacting with my clients face to face, as Jana Cordona says. It works for me. I have also embraced, everybody say embraced,
Right.
social media and e-commerce because I realize the world has changed and is continuing to evolve into a digital society. Speaking of digital, you may say, well, but the other speakers gave me a handout. I was able to write notes on it, okay? Since I am a social media intelligence trainer, I am digital. And so that does not mean you should not print paper. That just means that Shelley Bauer says that if I print paper, I go into cardiac arrest. So the digital society, understanding that. So the Global Interactor says, we are active online and have gone mobile with our marketing strategy. Going mobile is so very important. I'm frequently approached by questions and aspects of the ever-growing social media platforms that are online. We're talking about hundreds of platforms. The effects of what will happen with those. I saw an article yesterday about Facebook and how that they can see inside your heart. How do they do that? They do that because they are able to look at what your posts say, look at the kind of pictures that you are posting, look at the essence of the things that you share, and get into your mind to really see what type of person you are, where your heart is, what you are saying. I spoke last week at Women in Action to young women in college and said, watch what you say. You know, when your mother says that you better watch your mouth, that's the truth when it comes to social media intelligence. Make sure that you are writing something that is positive, even if it is in response to a negative. Now, I'm going to focus on 3 words. Say build,
Build.
embrace,
Embrace.
manage.
Manage.
When you build, think of social media as building a new home and online connections as your neighbors. Okay? Let's talk about neighbors that we've never met, or maybe we don't really want to know. And then let's talk about the great neighbors. We have neighbors whether we like it or not, unless we decide to go build on the top of a mountain somewhere. So, social media is your new home, and now you have these connections who are your neighbors. Stability is paramount in gaining momentum online. If you're here today and gone tomorrow, then people are going to think you are the same way in person. So being stable with your mentality, the types of things that you post, the types of things that you share. Okay, you're sharing business one day and the next day you're sharing something with a 4-letter word. That's not acceptable. That is absolutely not acceptable for a professional. You may say, well, this is just for my friends. Well, guess what? Other people see it as well. Shelley Bauer said earlier that people will search you online to find out who you are, where you're going, where you came from. All of those things combined. So as we build, remembering the stability, that firm foundation is very serious. Keep your home in good condition through scheduled maintenance and frequent cosmetic facelifts. Now let me break that down. Scheduled maintenance. What do I mean by that on social media intelligence? Would someone tell me?
Update profile and events and current things and be
There
active.
you go. So checking periodically, at least once a quarter, the backside of your platforms to make sure that if your phone number happened to change, if maybe your email changed, maybe your mission has slightly been revised, those type of things, that you can constantly be on top of the message that is being sent out on social media about you. You are painting a picture of yourself. So it's very important that the message that you have online is owned by you. Number 2 is embrace. Treat potential connections, or your neighbors, as we talked about, as friends we have not met. Now, what I mean by that, breaking that down, is I hear this quite frequently. So-and-so contacted me and friended me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and I don't know who they are, and I'm not about to accept their friend request. That's okay in certain arenas. If you're there just to talk with your friends and you're not there for business, then that's okay. But if you are in the type of business that I'm in, where I deal with all types of professionals, and they are interested in what I'm doing, and most of them are going to be business owners, then I will accept their friend request. And I do it on a trust basis that can be broken. So when I decide that they immediately contact me and say, hey, then I know that I'm going to go in and I'm going to block them or report them. I have no qualms about doing that. However, I trust them until they give me a reason not to trust them. And I actually say this in the blog, and you'll receive this as paid attendees today. You'll receive this PowerPoint with these links in here of the global mentality in a small town. And one of the things I say is trust people until they give you a reason not to. Then take action, remove, report, block. Everybody say that. Remove, report, block. And the operative word here is action.
Action.
All right, the third word is manage. Treat potential connection. Oh, sorry about that. Manage is overseeing your, I would say SEO. However, Jana has put me in my place with that. So I'm going to break that down with search engine optimization. So you oversee this. And your ROI, or your return on investment, which are as important as an appraisal on your home. Remember, we have the analogy of the home. These are very important because you are taking an appraisal of your social media. What is the essence of it? How is it returning to you? Where are you landing on Google? Very important. Management of your online rental properties or real estate. What's the difference? Can someone tell me the difference between online rental properties or real estate?
Real estate is real. It's physical, tangible.
Okay. Online, your online rental properties would be Facebook, Twitter, Ning. Okay, those are rental properties. Your real estate is when you own your website. So ShellyBauer.com is Shelly Bauer's intellectual property. She owns that, all right? If you build something on WordPress.com versus WordPress.org, then you do not own that. You are using a rental property. So it is not your intellectual property. Any questions on that? Okay. So managing, understanding the difference between whether you are renting or buying, is relatively simple when using the right tools. Now the question is, would you hire a plumber to fix your air conditioner?
Nope.
Probably not. You're going to look for a specialist with the expertise in what?
That particular area, air conditioning,
Plumbing.
plumbing.
Okay, we're hiring a plumber, so we look for expertise in what?
Plumbing.
Plumbing. The same applies to social media management tools and operators. If you're having someone operate your social media besides you, first of all, you do not need to micromanage. However, you do need to oversee. You do need to make sure that your image is being portrayed the way that you would portray yourself. So, understanding that management tools and operators are very important. There are management tools if you want to do your own, do-it-yourself social media that you can use. One is Hootsuite.com, HOOTSUITE.com. There are pros and cons. The pro is that you can set up scheduling. You can have it blast out every day at a different time, however you want to do it. Take an hour on a Monday and set it up for the entire week, okay? That's the pro. The con is that Facebook and Twitter and those areas are very intellectual, okay? And they can tell that it's not you behind that computer. They can tell that it's coming from Hootsuite, so it's scheduled to come out, all right? Another thing that's important to know is that Twitter and Facebook users like to stay separate. So one of the things that Sarah and I discussed last night is that when we are posting photos at Business Over Coffee International, we usually click on Twitter and Facebook and it goes out to the same place, same message, same picture, okay? Something that I have learned recently is that you do not want to send the same message, same picture to both platforms, because the people that are on Twitter or on Facebook that are savvy think lazy. Okay? So they think you've set up all this and you don't want to really be involved, you're not really active, you're not really engaging, it's a computer doing it. So what I suggested to her and what I suggest to you is that one time you take a photo, you put a status update, and you click Twitter and you send it to Twitter, okay? The next time you do a different message with a different photo and you send it to Facebook and you just stagger it. And you can do that as you go throughout your day. I have coffee with Marcella and I take a photo and then I put a status update and I send it over to Facebook. And then maybe the next morning I meet with Sean and I do the same thing and I send it to Twitter. So these are things that we are learning as we evolve because social media intelligence continues to evolve. Everybody say evolution.
Evolution.
That's the operative word when it comes to social media intelligence. Now I'm going to go to a few questions that I would like to ask you. And the first thing is I would like you to take pen and paper and define social media intelligence as you see it now. Take 60 seconds for this. For those of you who are watching online, while the audience is working on their definition of social media intelligence, we invite you to also do the same and tweet your answer to @BOCoffee on Twitter and join the conversation. Okay, we're going to take two people. I'll take the first. Wait, let's hold on, Beverly. You're so good. You're always so interactive. Let me see if I can pull some other people out.
Okay.
Someone else. Shelley.
Oh, I don't know if this is right, but I'll give it a shot. Social media intelligence is knowing what to do, making a plan, and executing to engage and deepen relationships online.
I love that. That's very in-depth. And I think social media intelligence encompasses so many things. We're going to break it down very elementary. What you just talked about is deeper, more educational, and you're absolutely right in that. Anyone else? Okay. What is social media intelligence? I define social media intelligence as the intel behind your settings. And number 2, the intel behind your thoughts and motives. So there's 2 prongs. One of the things that Shelley just said is what we do online. So the first prong is what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. So in order to understand that, we must go into the back room or into the back side of each of the platforms that we are on. Go to your settings. That's the first thing you should do anytime you set up a profile on an online system. Make sure your settings are set properly, whether you want it to be public, whether you want it to be private, or whether you want it to be just friends or connections. That's up to you. If you do not go into your settings, then it will default to whatever that platform will originally have for you. So very important to know that. That's the intel behind your settings. The intel behind your thoughts and motives. So social media intelligence is defined by me as how I portray myself online. Am I going to say what I really think, or am I going to think about it for a moment and think, now, that's true what I thought, but how can I reframe that in a positive way? And so it really helps me to become much more introspective within, to say, am I thinking correctly? Okay, and then share my thoughts. Also, the intelligence is being able to interact when Sarah posts a picture of Bonnie, her dog, and say, oh, she looks so cute, okay? That's the human side of me, okay? So it's not all business and it's not all personal. It is interwoven together to create intelligence so that when someone goes to your profile, they can scroll down through your profile and they can determine the type of person that you are. They get a pretty good picture of who you are. And it should mirror integrity, integrity-based communications. It should mirror that you are an honest person to form a relationship with. So the things that you put online are written in pen, not in pencil. So be very careful for you college students out there. And yes, I said you, college students out there. It's so very important to make sure that what you're putting online, you want to leave as a legacy because it will live forever. And moving right along, why should social media be a part of my personal and professional life? Any answers? Okay? The reason why social media should be a part of your personal and professional life is because we are in a global world. We are just getting started. Social media is not going away. So I really feel for the people that are not learning it as it evolves because it changes daily. So what you do is you look to people who know what they're doing and you also stay knowledgeable about what's going on. I recently had a client that had been in the ministry for many years. Didn't worry about LinkedIn. That wasn't his profession. He had a profession. And guess what? He now is not at that church. He now needs a job and has no LinkedIn presence. So regardless of what you're doing today, remember that you are planning also for tomorrow. So live in today and also plan for your future on social media because we are in a digital society. Now, you say, well, you said personal and professional life. That is because you are a person, correct?
Yes.
I hope so. Would you touch yourself? Pinch yourself, something. Do we have people in here? Okay. You're a person. You're not just a machine. You are a professional as well. So you must interweave both online in order to be successful with your online social media intelligence. How should I begin to build a positive social media presence? How do I start? There's so much out there. Where do I begin? I suggest 3 to 5 platforms. And 5 would be advanced, okay? 3 to 5 platforms for all businesses or professions. Some people are not business owners, but they're professionals. And I also suggest starting with 1. Do 1 correctly. Then move to number 2, then move to number 3. The most popular are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you are in the professional society, I suggest that you start with LinkedIn and do it correctly. Okay? I also suggest that your next place to go would be Facebook. And set up a business page as well as a personal page because you cannot set up a business page without a personal page. And also, Twitter would be the 3rd place I would suggest. Outside of that, when I say 3 to 5, YouTube is very important. To have video presence online is extremely important. And depending on what your aspirations are or your business and your profession is, Pinterest is very good for retail. I like Pinterest. I use it to post things about social media and also to humanize myself, to show my taste in furniture, decorating, and all of those type of things. So we interact with the social media intelligence on that particular platform. And there are many more to name. How will I humanize myself? You've heard me say, humanize yourself online. So I have a video to show you that shows you a prime example of how to humanize yourself beyond your business. because you do not want to seem like you're constantly shoving your business down people's throats. You are engaging. So this is a video that I put together as a social media tool for my dear friend Shelly Bauer, and the name of it is Who is Shelly Bauer? For those of you who are watching online, you can go to Business Over Coffee to youtube.com/businessovercoffeetv and search Who is Shelly Bauer, SHELLEYBAUR. Shelly speaking at Leadership Memphis, admirable. Shelly at another event, engaging. Shelly at BOCI, knowledgeable. Shelly at another event, supportive. Shelly outside, supporting someone who is faithful. There she is in her beautiful scarf. Beautiful. Showing off Beverly Boric's jewelry. Contagious. Interacting at Business Over Coffee International. A gift to you, Shelly Bauer.
A love letter online.
A wife. Now we go into humanizing. A daughter. She's just like us. A friend. An encourager. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely.
A lady. A teacher. A speaker. She's even on billboards. An author. IntegrityBasedCommunications.com. Shelly Bauer. So what we did with that video is we took both her professional side and her human side, and we entwined it into one video that was about 2 minutes, maybe, if 2 minutes long. So based on that information, give me some feedback on humanizing yourself on social media.
Maybe why, you mean like why we should do it?
Any questions you have? Yes, ma'am.
You gotta, when you're online, again, when going back talking about what Shelly was talking about, engaging people in what they perceive by your words versus your body language versus your tone. When you're in the social media arena, you really only have the words. So you've got to do something outside of the words to give that humanizing aspect to what you're doing.
Exactly. So showing yourself with your dog, showing yourself with your children, showing yourself on a family picnic, and then intertwining that with speaking at the Prosperity Series or where it is that you may be speaking. So the next question as we are wrapping up is, how will I manage my time in terms of social media interaction? Of course, this all sounds great and grandiose and all of that, but I just don't have time to do it. So we talked about Hootsuite.com. Another source I would like to recommend is recommend.ly. That's L-Y. That's recommend.ly, L-Y. This is specifically a Facebook application. You can go straight to your URL online and you can type in recommend.ly. You can set it up within less than 5 minutes. And then you can put things in the queue to go to various places on Facebook, whether it be your business page, your personal page, or birthday recognitions for your friends. So recommend.ly will show you when someone's having a birthday, you put it in the queue, it will send them your specialized birthday card right onto their page too. I love that. Can you tell that's my favorite part? So there's many things about that application that I highly recommend. Moving to the next question is, should I learn the do-it-yourself or the DIY method or hire someone to manage?
It's up to you.
It's up to you. It's all up to you. Now, the do-it-yourself method is going to take time. So you will have to take time. Yes, Sean?
I have actually people ask me this a lot, and I think that here's what I always answer is it depends. Is it so important that people are hiring you, then you have to be the voice behind that. If you have a product that is not so important about you and assigning your personality to that product, then that's okay. But if,
Sure.
if people making the judgment about whether to hire you or not
Yes.
is about your personality, then it's gotta be your voice. You have to
I like
at the very least participate,
Yes.
if not be the manager of your voice.
Establishing your voice. Very, very important. Thank you for that comment. And so what I'm hearing you say is when it's retail-based and so forth, that if it's a Dazzle USA, let's use them, one of our clients, Shelly and I, they like to use photos of very high-end, high-res photos of their product in their store in Germantown. They do not like to humanize themselves because they are like a Macy's and so forth, right? So you have different arenas. However, everyone in this room should be humanizing yourself and also sharing about your business and sharing education that you're learning from others through blogs and so forth. How do you find that information? You go to businessovercoffee.com and click on the international newsletter that comes out daily, and there are many, many sources of blogs that you can share there, as well as your LinkedIn home feed is full of information for you to share. So those are just a few things that you can use. Now, as we're wrapping up, what is the end result of all of this? Can someone answer that question for me?
Branding yourself.
Exposure,
Branding yourself, exposure,
networking,
Building
Networking.
relationships
building relationships,
and resources.
and resources, collaborating. Outstanding answers. So the end result is that 2.5 years ago, yes, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. And yes, I came back about 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago. And I began to get online, didn't know much, knew how to do Facebook, but that was about it. And I taught myself everything that I know. One thing that I learned is that I must be authentic. You find that in Shelley Bauer's book, Integrity-Based Communication. Authenticity is the word, the operative word on social media. You must be courageous, be able to put out the information that you want to share. Also, be authentic, be real, do not plagiarize. If you use someone else's information, give them the credit for it, okay? If you share someone's information, then that should be a compliment to that person. If they do not want you to share something, or you do not want someone else to share something, then you will set your settings in the backside, again on that social media intelligence, to where people cannot share. How many of you did not know that? How many of you knew that? Okay, a few of you knew that. So you control what happens with your social media intelligence.
Can you control it on some people and not other people?
There's ways, it depends on the platforms.
Because what I did with Facebook is I just had to unfriend some people because
Yes.
they were.
Yes, you can do that. You can unfriend. You can also have it go only to your friends, or sometimes it will go to friends of friends, or it will go to public. So you can control where your posts are going. So, and some of them you can do only me, which means that it goes to your page. Okay? That's all on the setting. Now that we've learned a little about social media intelligence, and a lot of you came in here with a lot of intelligence about social media, would you now write down what is social media intelligence? I'm going to give you, I need music behind me, drum roll. No, I'm teasing. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do this as we wrap up, because I do have a few things to send home with you. so that you can take this and build on it. The first person that has it written, raise your hand. What does social media intelligence mean to you? Those of you who are tweeting, go to @BOCoffee to join the conversation. Okay, time is up. Who can answer? Shelley.
Social media intelligence defines brands, promotes, manages your reputation through knowledge of settings and the desire to be authentic online.
I love that. I
Right.
mean, how can we say that any better than Shelley Bauer just said it? And one of the things that you said that really resonated with me, Shelley, is that managing your reputation. You cannot control your reputation, because Sean may get on there today and say, Sherry Henley thinks she's a great speaker, but she just doesn't have it together, right? And she puts it out there, and there's nothing I can do about it. However, I could manage it. I could see what she said, and I could go on there and I could say, laugh out loud, Sean, you have a sense of humor. I will learn from you. You are a great speaker, right? I've kept it positive. I've acknowledged that she said something, but I'm not on the defensive. Why do I need to be on the defensive? I am who I am. You are who you are. So be authentic. It comes back to that. So managing your reputation is important. However, you can control your character. And that's the bottom line on social media, is making sure that the true character of who you are shows. And if you go on there and you look at that and it's mirrored back to you as someone that you would not want to be friends with, it's time to reevaluate yourself introspectively and then transfer it to your social media intelligence. Now, I'm going to give you 3 things. Remember, the first word was what? Build. Think of your social media as building your new home and online connections as your neighbor. Stability is paramount. Here one day, gone tomorrow. Keep your home in good condition. And social media gives keeping up with the Joneses a whole new meaning, because we are constantly growing with every source that is implemented online. Moving to embrace. Recapping. Treat potential connections as what?
Friends you haven't met.
Friends you haven't met, which live next door to you? Neighbors, right? Trust people until they have given you a reason not to. Then take, what's the operative word? Starts with an A.
Action.
Take action. And remove, report, or block. And the last word is manage. Overseeing what's happening online. Very important. Here are the points and tips I'll leave with you. Manage your social media daily. No more than 30 minutes per day. Work it into your timeline. Stay focused on what your intentions are for entering that platform at that time. Some of the same strategies apply as Jana applies to face-to-face interaction. Post, comment, share your best friend. The share button is your best friend. And like. Follow these 4 simple steps each time you enter your platforms. Let me repeat it. You're going to post, you're going to comment, you're going to share something, and you're going to like something. And integrate various social media platforms to cut down on posting time with the one-click action. That's the last one. Did I say something about a share button? Okay, you go to, let's take LinkedIn. You see something you want to share. You share it, and there's a share button. You can share it to many different platforms. You can share it over to Facebook. You can share it to Twitter. You can share it to, and it takes about 60 seconds to share that content. Let's take Facebook, for example. If you are a member of 5 groups, which you should be, by the way, a member of 5 groups on Facebook, then you can share your content to each one of those groups. and then you can interact and engage with those people that are in those groups. That's how I built my presence online, through social media intelligence. And I'm so happy to have had you as an audience today. Thank you so much for coming out for this Fifth Thursday seminar with Business Over Coffee International. Visit us at businessovercoffee.com. God bless and continue bringing everyone together.